friends. Today on Gardening with Creekside, we have some fun developments with the construction of our Proven Winner Signature Garden here at Creekside Nursery. If you have followed us for a length of time, you know that of course we work very closely with the folks at Proven Winners, and last spring, so not this spring, but spring of 2022, the folks at Proven Winners approached us and asked us if we would be interested in designing, creating a Proven Winners signature garden. We were honored and we were thrilled and absolutely jumped at the chance to do that. So if you're not familiar with what a Proven Winners signature garden is, it is basically a garden that highlights and has the overwhelmingly majority of the plants are proven winners, whether they are, a lot of times you'll mix in with annuals, your perennials, and your shrubs, and even trees. There is not a set size. Some of the Proven Winner signature gardens are relatively small. We visited the Hotel Iroquois on Mackinac Island last year when we were there for the Grand Garden Show, and it is a very beautiful, intimate garden that Jack Barnwell created, and it is a fantastic one. Other ones will be larger, right? So it depends on what the creators of the signature garden want it to be as far as the size, then they get to determine that. The design is completely up to us. So we get to figure out, do we want to have a super formal garden? Do we want to have an informal garden? Like whatever the design is, we get to decide. We're going to kind of walk you through our ideas today. And then of course, you're just going to have a vast majority of those plants are highlighting proven winners. So with us being in North Carolina, a Zone 7B, obviously we're going to focus on plants that really grow, bloom, and thrive here in our lovely, hot, humid summer climate in North Carolina. All right, so I think, let's see, the plants. We provide the plants, and so we get to choose which plants we want to use, the design of them, and then that's the beautiful thing about us being a grower retailer of the Proven Winner plants is that we have a gorgeous selection of plants available for us that we get to pull from, and then of course we will work with our friends at Proven Winners. If there's maybe some plants that we can't secure, they will help us find those plants as well. I'm specifically thinking about some of the Proven Winner trees because they have some great ones that I would love to incorporate into these gardens. If you were interested about the Proven Winner signature gardens, they are really all across the country. I know there are two other ones here in North Carolina. There is one in Pinehurst, and then there is one in Cherokee, North Carolina. So you can go to the Proven Winners website. They will have different ones that you can go to. They are free. They are open to the public. So if you have a garden club that you want to take a tour of, then you can go to those. They're free, open to the public. Just check to make sure that their hours are work with your schedule so that you can visit them. All right, so I think that's all the nuts and bolts of the Proven Winner signature garden. So let's talk about the one that is going to be developed here at Creekside Nursery. Now, Jerry and I are standing here on our shrub lot, and basically, this Proven Winner signature garden is going to be in front of us. You can probably see some mounds of dirt. We have already started the construction and deconstruction of our display gardens because we've had display gardens here, right, that showcase new introductions, plants that are coming out onto the market. We've removed those. We'll show you those in a minute. But basically, this is where the signature garden is going to go. This whole area here is going to get revamped. The main entrance to the gardens will be in this area. So ignore the plants, ignore the small pergola, that will all be gone. We will have a nice, beautiful walkway to come through here, and then we come on over. So the plans that I'm going to talk about with you today are the plans that Jerry and I have come up with and dreamed about. Nothing is really hard set in stone because if you know us, we like to develop as we go along. One thing about Creekside, nothing's flat and we deal with water all the time. So we have learned that you don't stop water, you just try to tell water where to go. So here we have you can see this lovely little swell that Jerry has dug out. because here at Creekside, we have obviously the creek, right? So the creek is a lovely sleepy little creek where you see those massive trees. It is right between those trees. So that's where the creek is. But we have loads of natural springs, so water coming up from the ground. We're going to install a French drain here. We already have multiple French drains throughout the property, but obviously with the signature garden and folks coming and visiting, we need it to be nice and dry so that it is not gooey after it has been, tons of rain. So we're gonna have a French drain in here. You'll never know that because what we're gonna do is then create like a dry creek bed. Put beautiful decorative river rock here, so that it will kind of, if you've been familiar with the dry creek bed on the other side of the nursery going into the pines, that same concept, right? So you're not going to physically see water coming through here, but it will be draining. We will have a lovely bridge. We will have architectural elements in here coming across into the signature garden here. Now you see that Jerry has begun building up. We're going to call this a raised bed. We're not going to call this a berm. We're going to call this a raised bed. It is not finished. This is the rough construction of it because we do have the retail shrub lot here, and we want to make it very clear, very evident that this is something special. And so we want to create a little bit of a mystery of what is beyond this entrance. So on this raised bed, we're going to have obviously plantings. We are going to have more on this side, the shrub lot side of the raised bed. We will have sprinter boxwoods. So a nice thick hedge of sprinter boxwoods coming down. On the front side, this is where we will do annuals. So right now I'm envisioning a mass planting of the same plant. So whether it's Supertunia, Snowdrift, or if it's Mini Vista Indigo, right? So you're gonna have this massive color of annuals cascading down, going all the way down. You've got your sprinter boxwoods, and then really kind of the showpiece will be a hedge of Incredible hydrangeas. So I am a huge fan of Incredible hydrangeas. They are beautiful, sun-loving, part sun hydrangeas that bloom on new growth that will come through here. Massive hedge, so when you're looking at from the shrub lot, you'll see annual color, you'll see the evergreens of the boxwoods, and then the hydrangeas all on the top. And then again on this side, then we will do another planting of annuals. Maybe this one is a mixed bed of annuals, and then that's the beautiful thing about annuals is because year to year you can change it. This bed will be planted the same. They're not going to be the exact same size or the exact same shape, but they will be planted the exact same. So while they are sisters, they are not identical twins in their shape and their size. So that is what's going to be happening here. And then we will have paths that are easily accessible for folks of all mobility coming through here. We will have garden beds throughout this area. I do know that right smack in the center of the garden, we have a beautiful fountain from our friends at Unique Stone. I was planning on using that fountain for quite a while. So the last order, we ordered our fountain. So the fountain is here. She is just waiting for all the construction to happen before it will be taken and placed here. And then the idea is that we will have beds throughout here showcasing those trees, shrubs, perennials, and annuals. You can see that all the display beds are gone. They have been completely eliminated. We'll need to, obviously we're going to move the wind sculpture, so that will find its way back into the gardens, but it will not be in this exact location. So what did we do with all of those fantastic plants that were here? Well, Jerry had some fun because if you know Jerry, he does enjoy some good machinery, and it has been quite warm here in North Carolina. So he has been in the Bobcat, which has air conditioning. So he happily hopped in the Bobcat a couple of days ago and moved the plants. So what we have done, what he did, is use the bucket on the Bobcat and came in and literally dug up the plants. And he has placed them here in this little nook because for the vast majority of the day, this is in the shade. So he took massive clumps of the plants and then laid them down here. This was probably what, a week ago? Not quite a week ago? It was last week. Yeah, so about a week ago, he came in through here and dug these plants up. So you can see that, yes, it is a little bit of a hodgepodge, but this is what we call like they're healed in. So they have tons of soil around them. Their roots really were not disturbed because he had the big bucket and he just scooped up all the soil and placed them here. So you can see, like for example, coffee cups. Coffee cups, still quite happy, right? So that way we can, that one had water in it. So we can use these, but we're not having to try to pot them up. At first we were thinking about, do we dig them up and put them in containers and like save them somewhere? It would be really hard to put this coffee cups in a container. Obviously you would have to divide it out, but we've got the coffee cups, we've got monardas and the echinacea, tons of monardas. We've got, look, this hibiscus. Now you know if a hibiscus had any kind of drought, it would be very limpy. So it is quite happy. So everything has been healed in right here. That way we can take care of them and then reuse them. Now, are they going to stay here indefinitely? No, but it's a great way to use them. Now, the beautiful thing about this space is, one, it is a gorgeous piece of property. We are incredibly blessed that we get to call this home, that we get to be wonderful stewards of this piece of land, and we get to invite people to come and see these gardens at Creekside. And essentially, this is our home, right? This is my family land. I grew up here, so this property is very near and dear to our heart. So not only is it physically just gorgeous, but it also gives us just about any kind of garden you can imagine, it is here. Whether we have the full hot sun, where this bed, this is the 15 perennials for the south bed. This bed is going to stay. We might tweak and add some more plants to it, but this bed is going to stay. So we have full intense hot all day sun. Then we have a beautiful pond over here. Now the pond has been, I wouldn't say neglected, but it certainly has not been a high priority to put gardens around. That is going to change. So we will have gardens around this pond. The pond has been here for, 15 years. Jackson is 13. It was here before he was born. Somewhere around there. But what's a fun little story about this pond is that it is a spring-fed pond. So underneath the holly tree, there is a spring that feeds this pond. Jerry had this pond kind of dug out and installed 15-ish years ago because this spring obviously is very prolific, and without capturing that water, this whole area was like a bog and it was just unusable. So we have the pond. Obviously there is an overflow pipe that goes out into the creek. So we're going to develop this beautiful, we have part sun here, and then we go into the deep shade up here in the woods. So we have all of that available to us. We have lots of fun plans that I will keep you updated on those plans as they develop. And then we come over here to this lovely kind of grove of trees where this is a lot of dappled sun. We're blessed with some cloud cover this morning, which we are going to be very grateful for. But essentially the sun comes up over here and then it sets back over here. So this area has, like I said, is a part sun, part shade area. Dappled sun gives us lots of great options that we can put plants in here. We're going to use this to our advantage because, like I told you, we have lots of springs and wet areas here at Creekside. Somewhere in this general area is a spring under the ground, and so it comes up. We have had just a little bit of rain this morning, but we can tell because obviously mow the grass. We know this area right in here. It is somewhere in here. It is damp. We'll get different kinds of like native sedges popping up. different grasses popping up. So we're going to use this to our advantage. We're going to plant and use this as a bog garden. So we're going to put plants in here that love to have those wet feet. So this is going to be a really fun, different take on plants. So if you have a wet area and you're looking for some inspiration, some ideas on how to handle that, here we go. Because what we could do is, of course, try to like excavate this, dig this up, try to figure out where the water's coming from, and then direct it into an area. Why go through all that trouble? Let's put plants in here that love those conditions and let them thrive. It'll be really fun. So here within the Signature Gardens, we will have full sun, we will have full shade, we will have dry areas, we will have wet areas, and all of these are highlighting those proven winter plants that do really well in those conditions, and just to give people inspiration, some ideas. Come see what is growing and blooming and thriving here in North Carolina in the gardens. So as far as a timeline, because I know that you're probably going to be wondering about the timeline, we will initially debut the gardens in the fall of this year. So Jerry's behind the camera and we're like, yes, fall. It will go into the fall, and then of course next spring, so spring of 2024 will be the big huge showcase because of the annuals, right? So the annuals will be coming in, having those gorgeous annuals, loads of color, and then as you know, right, as gardens mature and as they get some age on them, they just get better. And so these gardens, like every other kind of garden, is going to be a growing garden, right? Meaning that it's not static. It's not like we're going to plant it and then leave it alone. No, we're going to be continually adding, tweaking, putting more interesting things in there every season, bits of pieces of interest for folks to come and visit. So if you're in the area, we would love to have you come by. You can stand by the shrub lot and you can take a peek and see how the construction process is going. We do have pamphlets here at the nursery that kind of highlight the Signature Garden, the direction that we are going in, kind of our story. So feel free that when you come to the nursery, grab one of those pamphlets. They're completely free, that you can look at that and learn some more about the Signature Garden here at Creekside Nursery. So it is a lot of fun. It has been a lot of fun dreaming and planning this. Obviously it is a ton of work, but we are at the point in the season where we have got the plans together and we have got, it is the perfect time of the year for us to begin this construction process so that it will be ready to go this fall and have you sweet folks come visit us. So we will keep you updated on this for sure. But as always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. We hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.